A tender cherry cake begins with the cream. We put a saucepan on the table. We measure out 250 milliliters of milk and pour it into the saucepan. The base for our future cream is ready. Next, we'll need 1 fresh egg yolk. We carefully crack the egg and use a separator to separate the yolk from the white. The yolk goes right into the saucepan with the milk. It will give the cream tenderness and a beautiful color. We gently combine the milk with the yolk using a whisk until the mixture becomes smooth. We add sugar. It will not only sweeten the cream, but also help it thicken properly. We stir until the crystals completely dissolve. Now it's time for the cornstarch. This is what will turn our mixture into silky cream. We whisk thoroughly, breaking up every lump. The mixture should become absolutely smooth. The texture of our future cream depends on this. We put the saucepan on medium heat. The most crucial part, we stir continuously with a spatula, not letting the mixture burn. In just a couple of minutes, the cream begins to thicken before our eyes, transforming into a silky mass. We remove it from heat and stir vigorously. The cream is ready. It should easily hold its shape on the spatula. We cover the cream with plastic wrap tightly, right in contact with the surface. This way, no skin will form. Moving on to the airy sponge cake. In a clean bowl, we crack 2 eggs. We measure out half a cup of sugar. We pour the sugar into the eggs and immediately take up the whisk. We vigorously beat the mixture until it noticeably lightens. This is the foundation of our sponge cake's future fluffiness. Now we add the liquid ingredients. We measure the milk precisely, 120 milliliters. We pour it into the bowl with the egg-sugar mixture and carefully stir with a whisk so as not to disturb the airy structure. Next, vegetable oil, also 120 milliliters. The oil makes the sponge cake especially tender and moist. We pour it into the bowl and again, gently mix. The movements should be smooth, without vigorous beating. Now we work with the flour. We measure out half of the total amount and sift it through a sieve. We add baking powder right into the sieve with the flour. This way it will distribute evenly throughout the mixture. We sift everything together into the bowl with the batter, creating a light, airy texture. We carefully mix with circular motions of the whisk. We also sift the remaining flour. It's better to do this in 2 stages so as not to overload the batter. We sift through the sieve again. And the final stage. We gently fold in the remaining flour. The batter gradually thickens, becoming smooth and even. It's important not to overdo the mixing. It's enough for the flour to completely combine with the liquid ingredients. The batter is ready. We lift the whisk and see a smooth ribbon. A couple more movements for evenness. Perfect consistency achieved. Now let's work on the pan. A springform pan, 22 centimeters, the optimal size for such a cake. We thoroughly grease the bottom and sides with a piece of butter. Every corner should be covered with a thin layer. We place a circle of parchment on the bottom and carefully smooth it out. And now an important moment. We place strips of parchment against the sides, carefully securing them with our fingers. Such preparation guarantees that our tender sponge cake will easily separate from the pan, and each piece will have perfect shape. The batter turned out really airy and smooth. It's time to transfer it to the pan. We carefully pour out all the mixture, trying not to lose the fluffiness. important moment. We take a spatula and gently level the surface with circular movements from center to edges. This technique helps the batter distribute evenly in the pan and creates an ideally smooth base for our cream with cherries. The batter is ready. Now let's work on the cream. We remove the plastic wrap. The cream has sufficiently cooled and thickened during this time. We take a spatula and carefully stir the mixture, returning its smoothness and uniformity. It's important to work without haste so as not to disturb the delicate texture. Now we transfer the cream to a pastry bag. This way it will be much more convenient to distribute it over the batter surface in beautiful, even circles. We fold the edges of the bag and shake it lightly so the cream distributes evenly inside. Ready, we can begin decorating the cake. We take the pastry bag with cooled cream and begin creating beautiful circles right on the batter surface. We pipe the cream evenly, covering the entire area of the pan. These delicate, creamy swirls will become the foundation of our cake. The movements should be smooth and confident, so the circles turn out neat. The cream goes down very obediently, creating a beautiful textured pattern that after baking will transform into incredibly tender, creamy layers inside the sponge cake. We continue decorating our cake, applying a second layer of cream in circles from the pastry bag. We place each circle neatly over the batter, creating even swirls. The cream lies perfectly flat, forming a beautiful pattern over the entire surface of the pan. Between the cream lines, we distribute frozen cherries. We place each berry in the indentations, creating bright, contrasting accents. We distribute evenly over the entire surface, so each piece of cake gets its portion of juicy berries. Look how striking this combination appears. Delicate, creamy spirals and ruby cherries. The cake is ready for baking. After the required time, we take out our fragrant baked goods and set them to cool. We carefully remove the rim of the springform pan. The cake holds its shape perfectly. Now we gently separate the parchment paper from the sides, trying not to damage the delicate surface. We cover the cake with a plate and with a confident movement, flip it over. We remove the bottom of the pan and free the base of the cake from parchment. We cover with a second plate and return to the correct position. Before us, in all its glory, is our cherry masterpiece with golden crust and aromatic cream that's just begging to be served. And the final touch, we dust with confectioner's sugar. The result exceeded all expectations. The delicate, creamy spirals beautifully contrast with the bright cherries, and the airy sponge cake promises to simply melt in your mouth. Each angle reveals a new facet of this homemade masterpiece, from the golden crust to the elegant cream pattern that we created with such love. The cake is ready for tasting. With a sharp knife, we carefully cut out the first slice. It's important to do this with a confident movement to preserve the beautiful cream layers and not crush the tender sponge cake. We lift the slice on a spatula. Look at this magnificent cross-section. The airy batter, delicate swirls of pastry cream, and bright cherries create a real picture. Each slice is a little masterpiece. Layers of cream beautifully interweave with the airy sponge cake, and the cherries add bright accents. The texture turned out exactly as needed, light but moist. The first spoonful reveals the complete harmony of flavors. The tenderness of pastry cream perfectly complements the sweet tart notes of cherry, and the sponge cake literally melts in your mouth. This cake will be the decoration of any table and will bring real pleasure to everyone who tries it.